Hey friends, it's your girl Empress Danny back with another episode of the Daily Grind. It's what I love to do, pouring you up a hot cup of joe, getting your day off to a bright and beautiful start. I would like to check in and get today's messages. Follow, subscribe, all that good stuff means the world to me. Certainly your viewership is appreciated. In meditation today comes a message about, as you can see, the video is entitled At Your Feet. And there's something about, I feel, lowliness or humility that comes in today. Obviously, the feet, if you think about in the hierarchy of the body, the feet are perhaps some of the more essential aspects of the body, right? Getting us where we need to go, right? The feet carry us literally. They can withstand the weight of every other part of your body. So when we talk about strength, the feet have to be strong in order for them to be effective. Further, when we look at feet, they're also, kind of one of the nastiest parts of the body, right? They're the ones that get walked all over. They're on the ground. And so there's something significant around feet today, right? Perhaps foot care is significant, podiatry, but perhaps it's much deeper than that in the spiritual symbolism that is connected to our feet. When we talk about these energy meridians, the 12 gates, if you will, that come from our brain, right? We are talking about they run literally through our bodies. So that's why you often in, I want to say, Chinese medicine, they will talk about pressure points in the feet that are linked to every part of the body, because those nerve endings where they come to rest is in the foot. So when we look at the feet, a lot of significance is held there. It's perhaps where our nerves come to rest, but it requires humility. So when we're talking about, are we able to rest? Do we have peace? Is that because when it comes to our feet, we've not been taking care? That can indicate there are things perhaps that we have the responsibility to carry that we've not carried, right? We haven't taken on that strength. That could also be that there are things, because there are significant nerve endings, perhaps that we are needing to adapt the sensitivity to that we've been insensitive to, right? It could be the lowly place that it is, right? I think about when we were kids. This is something that, and I know this doesn't resonate for everyone, but my lifestyle was just abnormal, the way that I grew up. And I don't see that as a bad thing. But I was raised in a life of service. So I was taught to serve. And essentially the feet is the part of the body that's linked to service. I say this because I remember as kids, me and my cousin, we would rub my uncle's feet. And not because it wasn't perversion, it wasn't because, he was the king of the castle. We rubbed his feet because we enjoyed the fact that it made him feel better. That's what we wanted to do. So I grew up in a lifestyle or a culture that was submissive enough to be able to bow at the feet. And I say that because I realize not everybody is. Some people, right? Get your feet off of me, right? Get them feet away from me. But at the feet, there are, again, that's where you think the funk that carries the load, that carries the weight. And so for us, it was more about, yes, Uncle, I have no problem rubbing your feet. I want to rub your feet because it is my desire to lift or alleviate some of the heaviness that is on you. And we might get a quarter, right, if we were lucky. But rubbing the feet is significant because it requires humility, right? Hey, Chevelle, good to see you. Thank you for being here. What's up, AC? Hey, Caradice. Welcome in, y'all. Appreciate your presence. So the feet are significant today. I think about a Mary and Martha energy, right? If you think about how she laid at Jesus' feet, right? Sometimes it's just lowering yourself in a posture enough to be able to listen to someone, right? To take in what it is that they have to say. That could be significant today, but it requires humility to do so, right? The alabaster box where she took her very rare, expensive perfume and she anointed his feet. It was almost like an oxymoron where I'm going to take something so rare, so precious, and so valuable, and if I could just put it at your feet, what it was doing was elevating him. And that's what it does when you, whether you rub somebody's feet or you anoint someone's feet, you are saying, I am willing to lower myself enough to have the humility to exalt you, that I would even lay at the lowest part of you, that I would even anoint or exalt. I would give glory to the lowest aspects of you. And what it does is it really demonstrates, I'm not judging you, because if I can give glory to, if I can anoint, if I can rub, if I can show love to the lowest places of you, then it demonstrates what? If you're faithful over few, then what? You'll be ruler over much. So some of you just be mindful of that as you're perhaps willing to position yourself, be it at someone's feet, be it simply having the loneliness to what could be like, again, take a position of humility. That could speak volumes in terms of, I just heard where you're walking today. So perhaps there is somewhere that you're walking. Let's jump right in. The name Jess could be significant. Something makes me feel like you gotta see it before you see it, or you never will see it. There's a healing portal of alignment that's taking place at the top of the day. You're going to see lots of signs that I feel that the universe is mirroring you. So it feels as though when you look at life, in some way it's going to look back at you. What does that mean? That means that what? At your feet, as you are going through your day, if you don't have humility, you're going to see a reflection of arrogance. It also means that where you have humility, you're going to see that humility reflected in life, which means that there will be a grace associated with the day that realizes there's a real power in being spiritually sensitive to the direction of flow. His yoke is easy and his burden is light, and seeing the way that the energy flows and there being a power associated with that. I hear swift, and in my meditation came up, who sings that? Escape. I literally only heard the part that said, full as a dam at capacity. So there could be some significance with a dam at capacity, or what could be like, a dam is intended to ensure that there's no overflow. So this could be where something is at capacity, it's reached its limit or its max. Maybe we're talking credit cards, right? Maybe we're talking, right, I had enough, right? Maybe it's my feet, right? My feet are tired, right? They've had enough, right? They crunching, they curling, they all kind of stuff, right? So it can be, again, full as a dam of capacity. This could even be satisfaction, right? Because that's what that song is referring to, right? So much love, right? There's no way that I could possibly accept any more, right? There's no way I am at capacity. I'm overloaded, right? I'm full. Full of love, or perhaps it is, I'm full of other things and it's time for me to release that, right? Again, to take a load off. The dogs is tired. Speaking of flow, I just wanted to show you guys what is our confirmation that has come in as the last card of the day. Okay. So like I said, it just feels like a day riddled with spiritual flow and a sensitivity to that, establishing an intention around that, right? I intend to operate in flow. That might be good for you to affirm today. I intend to operate in flow. Let every one of my steps be one that is divinely orchestrated, right? In flow and in lockstep with the things it is, with the plans that I have and the plans that are aligned with the overarching universal plan. Why? Because that's going to make it so much easier. Okay. Let's I just heard dictate. Perhaps there's some sort of dictation. I will just make a brief mention of this. I was picking something up about Aang activity today. So I do feel like some of you just be mindful. I specifically heard Arian. So take that however it is that you will. Obviously that could be a name, but I'm aware that that is also has other contexts as well. But some of you just be mindful. Okay. Um, it looks like we're dealing in what could be record keeping today. Something perhaps today could be significant about um, being made official. It could be like something, I just heard sign on, so there could be like some sort of sign on bonus, something significant around taking something or someone on. I do feel a very busy energy at play today, and it feels as though, let me just be very clear. What I'm seeing is like the devil is busy, yes, right? He's doing the most, he's doing a lot, but spirit is also busy, and I don't feel like spirit is busy in terms of, if you ever seen somebody, this may resonate with yesterday's messages, because yesterday's messages came up and it was some, maybe it wasn't yesterday, but it was something like Peter got hands. Okay. And if you think about Peter, right, and this goes kind of like, this is part of, I feel, the humility that's coming up today. Okay. Because so often, and this is what God kind of gave me in meditation. How often do we try to fix people? How often do we look at people and say, that's my little project? How often do we look at people as if something is wrong with them or if they are broken? And in whatever it is we see in them and that is perhaps broken, God is actually showing us ourselves. How dare you look at my child and not have the humility to lay at their feet, to listen to what they have to say, to learn from them? How dare you not lower yourself? How dare you see them as having something wrong with them? How dare you see them as, oh, they need to heal, oh, they need this, when they're simply being my servant? There's nothing wrong. I made them completely whole. They're not lacking anything. I'm trying to get you to lower yourself. So I feel an energy that's like that at play, where again, it is kind of like, again, arrogance, which could be like, I got it all together. But if we operate in such a way, then how quickly can that same energy spin the block and kick us down a few notches, just because of the fact that we feel like we got it all together and lack the humility to do what? To lay at the feet, if you will, to humble ourselves to that place, that low place of humility that says, I'm not perfect. I'm not without sin, right? I do things all the time and I don't have it all together. And I don't want people to know about those things. I want people to shake those things off, right? I want to just be able to disconnect or to disregard those things. And sometimes we do this with ourselves, right? In our own lack of humility. We don't accept, I just heard that our feet stink. I don't know if that's significant, but we don't accept our stinky feet, our low places. We don't have the humility to acknowledge, right? I just would rather, I don't want to think about that. I don't like the way that feels. That doesn't make me feel good to talk about or to think about those places of me that are, well, how arrogant of us to be so busy that we don't want to look at I don't know why it's giving like we don't want to look at our sins. We don't have the humility to say, you know what, I was wrong. And to find out if we are, perhaps by lowering ourselves, that's the strength of the feet that needed to carry us to the right place. Okay. The place of being right. So I feel like today has something to do with that. The top of the day is air energy. And it feels like there could be something around speaking. If so, it feels as though throat chakra, you may benefit from working through throat chakra. The color blue is related with, honestly, I didn't even necessarily think about that before I came on here, but blue is linked to the throat chakra. But I feel perhaps working on what could be like your voice. This could be if you're in a position where you need to apologize, right? I didn't have the humility. I lacked the love. I wasn't willing to, what could be, lower myself, right? And again, sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes God is saying, have the pride to elevate. You've been at the feet long enough. And now you've been strengthened at the feet by lowering yourself, by having the humility, if you will, to what could be like go those low spaces or walk those low places. get in the trenches, and spirit maybe in some way elevating you today in what feels like the energy of opening the heart chakra in order for you to manifest. Okay, so I feel like allow that to happen as you will. This feels like listening ear. So again, listening for the voice of God in what you are being invited to. Okay, so the top of the day, listen for the voice of God to know what it is that spirit is inviting you to. I hear Kurt Carr, let's set the atmosphere for a blessing, set the atmosphere for a mighty move of God. Is it all right if we set the atmosphere? Some of y'all, that's what you're going to be doing. That could be your invitation, is to set the atmosphere for God to come in and simply have your way. And this could be in the workplace. It could be in your home. This could be setting the scene for a conversation. Whatever it is that you need to do, why would you not set the atmosphere and say, God, before I have this conversation, before I make this phone call, before I go over there, before I do anything, I dispatch your angels now to set the atmosphere, God. Protect the perimeter of the place, God. Go before me, God, and set a hedge of protection, God, that no evil shall befall me, that no plague shall come nigh me, God. I thank you that your angels encamp round about. Set a guard over what? My lips. Make my feet as hinds feet and set me upon high places. So some of you, that's what you're establishing now. God, I have to have the humility, because if you don't protect me through this, through whatever it is that I have to do, that you're calling me to have the humility to do, I won't be safe. Okay, this leads into air midday, and then I hear, this is the air I breathe. Okay, butterfly energy, which feels like your intentions. It's easier when you have established an atmosphere that's prepared for you to do what it is that you intend to do. Now that the atmosphere has been prepared, now that the way has been established, right? Much like I came in, and this could be like, case in point, this can be like getting to know you. Why? Because some people will misconstrue or misunderstand what could be like acts of love or acts of kindness, right? If I'm raised in a life, I don't know why it's given like heaven on earth massage parlor, right? Then everybody doesn't understand, right? I wash your feet, right? You know, that can be, people can take that however they want. So some of you, the way in which you serve, the way that you love perhaps is what that is. It really gives a masculine energy. A lot of times women will misperceive chivalry as being flirtation, and that's not always. There are acts of intimacy that are pure 100% love of people, that has absolutely nothing to do with whether I want you or you want me, but has everything to do with, I am willing to have the humility to lower myself to honor the God in you as another creature that he created, period. And that is what I intend to do. And that does what? It makes it easier. Okay? So butterfly, air and air, but it feels as though whatever this is that you're listening to, that you're hearing, or perhaps that you are speaking today, becomes easier and easier because things begin to metamorphose based on what your intention is. This then leads to the end of the day. Let me just be clear, right? Call Jordan Sparks and Chris Breezy, because today is all air, right? So if they were wondering how they were going to breathe, right, then it feels like today's their I just heard holy day. Today's their day, and it feels as though all in flow. We end the day on a note that feels as though, I just heard signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. Okay. And this, like I said, I get this energy of giving this to God. I am going to submit to divine flow. You may be bowing at the feet of a situation, circumstance, something, or someone. You have had the strength. You have carried whatever this is. So I am going to relinquish my will, right? I am going to lower myself. It can also be where you have already done that, and it brings in what feels like communications or demonstrations, illumination to the fact that you've been operating in flow, and makes it easy perhaps for others to have the humility to perhaps bow at your feet. Nonetheless, I feel like that's the general energy for today. Either way, in whatever regard it is, I feel some aspect of you finding out, I just heard, what love really is. Okay? Because some of you may be in a position where you don't know what love really is. If you've never experienced it, if you always cut it off, if you've rejected it, if you denied it, If you felt far away from it or disconnected from it, that's an indication that your ego is at play. And some of you, this could certainly be if you what you won't do for love. You've tried everything, but you won't give up. And this could be today where something that you're doing is you finding out the power of your love and it being in a position where the flow of energy comes in. If you say, where are you, right? I don't know why it's giving Adam in the garden. Adam, where art thou, right? Oh, God was like, man, bro, I love you, right? My son, why are you hiding from me, right? India Ari, I am ready for love. Why are you hiding from me? The things that I would give for you, I bet that's how God felt with that. With the things that I would do for you, if you would just lower yourself and have the humility to face me, Adam. I'm not giving you a hard time, Adam. I'm not trying to break you down. You already know how I am. This is the way that I flow. This is how I move. Don't disconnect yourself from me, Adam. Don't disconnect yourself from my love, Adam. Because my love has the ability to do what? It can heal. It can forgive. It can atone for whatever it is that you're facing. My love has the power to be able to do that. But we must have what? We must have the humility. So I feel like today is a combination and what feels like a demonstration of what happens when we pair humility with power and knowing when we need to lower ourselves. And when humility brings us to a place right here, let it rise. Okay. That's what I have for you. I love you. Like, follow, subscribe. And we will talk again.